Hi CCIS 5th grade. So what I did was I sent this home to you guys in the packet I gave you guys, and I don't know if a lot of you guys filled this out, but if you haven't, I'm going to do a video on how to start this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking at this for reference, but if you need it for that visual step by step, feel free. I'm going to be just using it as a reference, as said. So if you want, you can follow me. Otherwise, feel free. Go on your own pace. So I'm going to be going in portrait. As I said in my little paper, you can use computer paper, you can use sketchbook paper. It doesn't matter. I'm using this kind of paper. So as I said, I'm in portrait. And I'm going to be looking at about halfway through the paper. So if I were to split this in half, about halfway, and I'm going to draw my pot somewhere on the bottom here. Now I want to make it kind of big. So there's a bunch of different pots on this reference here. So there's a nice terracotta style pot, just a round curved pot, one with some cool definition, just all these cool pots. So you have a lot of pots to choose from. And now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a cactus still life. So still life is something where you have it right in front of you. So if we were in class, I would have brought in some cactus that we would have drawn in life. But unfortunately, we are not in class. So I'm just going to be helping you guys and guiding you on how to draw some cactus. So as I said, we're going to start from in the middle and going towards the bottom. And I'm going to be doing a really cool curved pot, because that's a lot of the pots I have for my cactus and my plants. Alright, and then I'm going to do some curves on the side. So what you guys are going to notice is I do a lot of sketchy drawing, especially when I'm on paper. So just letting you guys know that that's how I draw. And I'm just going to draw another kind of curve in the back. We might have to erase this eventually, but I'm just using this as a guideline. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I want to make a kind of a funky pot. So I'm going to do a kind of a bump here. I'm going to do another bump here. And one last one. And I'm going to try to do that same thing on the other side. So a bump here. A bump here. And one last bump. And then I'm just going to do a curve, curve. This one might be a little bit shorter of a curve. This one might be a little bit longer. And then I'm going to end it off with a big curve on the bottom. Alright, so now we need our horizon line, because our cactus pot is floating in space. So I'm going to put it, usually I say kind of look in the middle of your pot or your object and kind of go above there. So I'm actually going to go right here is where my horizon line is going to be. And there's a bunch of different cactus on this paper. You guys can use this as reference if you want. Otherwise, you know, make your own cactus. Maybe you are living in some weird, whimsical, awesome fairy tale land where the cactus have arms and legs. I don't know. It's up to you. I'm going to draw kind of almost like a snowman cactus. It's got a nice circle on the bottom, and then there's another circle at the top. And we're going to put some flowers there. Alright. I'm going to draw kind of similar to what you might see in movies, where it's kind of like a big curve. I'm going to use my eraser to smooth everything out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some cool arms. So I'm going to do a curve right here. I'm going to curve it up. Do a nice arc. Move some cat hair out of the way. And I'm going to come around. And then what I'm going to do is when I come down towards it, I'm actually going to curve it in. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to curve down, do kind of a U, do a big curve, curve it down, and then I'm going to come around and curve it down some more. Alright? And I love aloe vera plants. Aloe vera, fun fact, is actually not a cactus. It's actually a succulent. And it's also part of the lily family, which is kind of weird because you wouldn't think an aloe vera plant is. So what I did was I kind of did a curve up, made a point, and then when I came down, I curved that bottom part. So I'm going to do that same thing on the other side, and I'm just going to keep on making points and curves. Maybe just a couple points here. Maybe you make an aloe vera plant, maybe it's all lanky, so maybe it's got longer ones. It's all up to you. It's your drawing. I'm actually going to do another cactus right in the back here. And this one's actually not going to have arms like this. I'm actually just going to put some circles here. I'm just going to keep on putting some cool circles. Maybe I put one right here as well. So I'll erase this line in a little bit. Alright. So if you want, you can put more cactus. Sometimes it's nice to do 5 or do an odd number. So right now I've got 4 cactuses. If I did an odd number, it's going to look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. If you don't know what aesthetically means, it's basically, it means it's more a little bit beautiful. Makes it kind of even. So what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to probably put something down here. Maybe it's a little tiny cactus. Those are cute too. Alright, so now I'm going to erase those lines that I have. So what I'm using is, I'm using a nice big eraser. So something that we use in class, so you might recognize it. I'm going to erase that line here. I'm going to erase these lines inside the aloe vera. So making sure I don't erase part of the cactus. It's okay if you do, you can just redo it. Now what I'm going to do after I do this is I'm actually going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to outline everything because I want to make sure it pops. If you don't have a Sharpie at home, you can use a black marker, you can use a black crayon, you can use a pen, or if you don't have anything at all and you just have a pencil, that's totally fine too. And you can make these cool lines with your pencil, or if I want to use my Sharpie now, I can. So I'm actually going to switch over to a Sharpie, just so you guys can see it a little bit more. And I'm really just following my cactus lines. It's okay if you mess up and let's say you don't follow your pencil marks to a T. Now that's totally fine as long as you erase those pencil lines so that way we don't see it in your final work. So do my circle. Do my aloe vera plant. And as I said, I'm just going over my lines. It's okay if you don't go perfectly. the pencil lines are just more of like the guidelines. So we kind of know where everything is and where we want everything. So I didn't even make any pencil lines in here. Now what you guys can do is you guys can actually use your pencil, and what I did was I just traced that pencil line. So you guys can use your pencil and kind of make those lines in your cactus to kind of help you out. Otherwise you can just kind of free draw it with the Sharpie. If you feel more comfortable with the pencil, go for it. I'd say if you are not sure, use your pencil, especially if you're uncertain about how it might turn out and you don't want to ruin your cactus drawing. And don't forget the flowers at the top. And as I said, like these pencil lines are more of a guideline for you, kind of help you out. Maybe I put some flowers out here. Alright. So cactus have points, so that's what you can do with your Sharpie or your marker or your pen or your pencil. Just put some spikes in here. They don't have to be perfect. What I'm doing is just doing some arrows down almost, or just kind of little marks here and there. Now if you look at different cactuses, they all have different spikes. Some are longer, some are shorter. It just depends on what cactus you're looking at. So I'm just going through this. Now the background is going to be kind of interesting, so I can't wait for us to get to that. Aloe vera, you can do some cool lines inside. So I'm just kind of making some dashes. And I'm coloring in this part because maybe I want like a black flower, or maybe I want some longer points in this one. Alright, maybe I want some dots in this one. Maybe those represent the spikes. If you're able to go on the internet, I'd say look up some cactus. They're pretty cool. I love looking at cactus. As I said, I love plants. So I'm going to start to outline this pot. So I'm going to be really careful of this because I actually don't want to free draw this too much. Alright, so I'm going to do my lines. Alright. Oh, don't forget your horizon line. I almost forgot it. Alright, so if you look at that reference, again, they have some pretty cool designs in the background. So what you guys can do is you can add some cool designs if you like. You can do stripes, you can do zigzags. So if now I'm doing this in Sharpie, and you guys don't have to do this in Sharpie. You guys can do this in pencil. I'm just doing it for time-wise. But you guys can do whatever kind of pattern you like. Now I would like to see this all in color. So once we complete this, I'll show you a cool way to color it. So I'm just kind of doing some zigzag lines. With some cool three-dimensional look to them by kind of going over it again. Alright, so I've got a pretty cool ground, and I want to do something cool with the sky. So what they did in the reference was they did some pretty big circles, and that's kind of cool. If you want, you guys can do that. Otherwise, you know, make up your own pattern. So I've got some points, so maybe I want to do some curves in my sky. So think about what you want to color your cactus with. If you have any materials such as like watercolor or crayons or color pencil, that would be great, because I'm going to be actually using color pencil, or actually I'm going to be using watercolor for our cactus project. So if you have watercolor, awesome. If you don't have watercolor, use some cool color pencils. Like I've got some color pencils here. And what you can do with color pencil instead of watercolor is you can actually get into those details. So maybe in that background, maybe you want to put some more colors in there. Maybe you want to put just a variety of different things that you can do without watercolor. Alright, so now I'm going to erase my marks that I put in. So you might be thinking like, oh, that eraser looks kind of familiar. Nice big eraser so I don't ruin my nice, awesome pencil erasers. Make sure your eraser is clean. Unlike mine was a little dirty. But all the same, use whatever you have at home. If you only have small erasers, that's totally fine. But make sure your paper is nice and clean. There's no erase marks. Alright, so now I'm going to get some watercolor out. I keep on saying color pencil, I think. This is wanting me to do color pencil instead. Alright, so what's cool is that you guys can choose whatever colors you want to paint your cactus and still life. So if you want, you can do some greens in there, because that's what color cactus are. If you want, you could go the more whimsical kind of style where the cactus are maybe funky colors. It's totally up to you. I'm just going to continue to just kind of paint over. So, really important thing, if you are using, let's say you got watercolor and you want to use it, if you are using a black marker, so like a Crayola, you cannot use watercolor, because if you look on Crayola's or Crayola markers, you'll see that it says washable. So that means that it's going to be easily, like if you go under the sink and you got marker on your hands, you wash your hands, it's going to come off really quickly. Sharpie, on the other hand, will take days to get off. And that is because Sharpie is not washable. So that is something to think about too. So the only reason why my marker is not blending is because I use a Sharpie marker. If you are using Crayola marker or just a regular marker, you cannot use watercolor. So if you are like me and you're painting your cactus all green, made me think about what you want to paint your background color. So I actually might be thinking about painting my background a warmer color. So one of the warmer colors I could do is red. I could do orange, and I can do yellow and pink if I wanted to. I actually might do orange and red because I have a little bit of blue in some of my green here. And if you guys think about complementary colors, across from green on the color wheel is red, and across from blue is orange. So that's something you guys can think about when you're coloring or you're painting. Think about what colors you actually want to use. Now, as I said, if you're using color pencil, you can go in here and add some more details, even blend some of these colors together. That'd look really cool. So I can actually go back in and blend some of these. So like this one, it's kind of more greenish tint. So I can go back in, maybe add on some of that greenish color from the other ones. Maybe with my pot, I think I'll make it purple. And so another thing you can do is put some designs in your pot. So I have some really kind of sharp lines, some angle lines in my ground. You could think about some dots or maybe some more curved lines. Now it's all up to you. And for color wise, you can think about maybe what kind of colors you want to use. You can do whimsical, you can do realistic. Maybe you decide, you know, I want to do my favorite football team colors. That's totally fine too. And if you want, you could put maybe their logo on the ground. All up to you. So I'm actually going to do pink on the bottom. Maybe I do kind of alternating. So I do pink on one and I do a different color on the other one. So something with watercolor, you can blend it. So something with watercolor, you're going to see that it's going to be blending in with each other if it's not completely dry. Now, that's totally cool if that's what you want, but if you don't want it to blend together, now you can think about maybe taking a break, doing some of that other homework that we have. So maybe one of your teachers assigned something, and then you can get back right into the art. That's what's kind of nice about art, is you can kind of keep going back and forth with it. Now that's what I do. I have a lot of projects that are only halfway done because I keep thinking about something else that I want to do, or, you know, anything that you can do and think of, I want to do. So now I'm just going to keep on coloring and painting this in. Something that's cool with watercolor is you can do different techniques. I don't know if Mrs. O'Keefe showed you, but right now I'm doing the wet on dry technique. So that means the paper is dry and my brush is wet. Now if I did a dry on dry, it means that my brush is going to be completely dry, my paper is going to be completely dry, and it's going to look kind of something like this. So I'm going to dry off my brush, maybe get that orange color that I was wanting, dry that brush off. So it's not going to be as wet. You're going to see a little bit more of that brush strokes in there. Now that's something too you can think about. If you want to do some texture, as I said, if you are not using or if you're using watercolor, this is something you can think about. Play around with watercolor. I think watercolor is super fun. It's really flexible in doing whatever you want to do. So like we're doing our cactus still life. Maybe I do a landscape in watercolor, or I do a portrait in watercolor. Now if you're doing these fun kind of waves, think about where your pattern's going, because I don't want to go to a curve and then think, oh, it doesn't go this way, it goes that way, and then realize I messed up. You almost have to think about it. Something that I usually do is I usually maybe make some tallies, or put maybe like, oh, orange is this part. Maybe think about it as like a checkerboard. If you're drawing a checkerboard, now see, I messed up this one because I got orange right next to it. But that's okay, because I totally meant to do that. And that's what art is all about. It's okay to mess up because you're the artist. And who knows, maybe it looks perfect just like that. Alright, so as I said, I wanted to use some reds. Now I don't really have a red color exactly in my watercolor palette, but I have this kind of darker orangey red, almost like a burnt sienna. Alright, so while we're continuing to color our cactus, now you can take as many, maybe you pause the video and you work out how to actually do the cactus, or maybe you research a couple of the cactus, because maybe you have this cactus that you love and you want to draw that and make that into your still life. Totally fine. It's all up to you. As I said, you can pause the video, but after you've got your drawing completed, your painting completed, I want you guys to put this on Artsonia. Now you guys know how to do Artsonia. I want you to be able to see this painting, this drawing, when you guys are older, being like, oh, I did this while I was at home, and kind of look back at it. Or since you are home, you don't have to worry about it being crinkled up in your locker while you're taking it home after art class. However, I am disappointed because I can't see you guys actually working and can't answer questions as quickly as if we were in the art room. But I will like you to upload this to Artsonia. If you did the sketchbook, which is not mandatory, you can also upload that to Artsonia. Now, the project is mandatory, and I would like to see this and see you guys being able to complete it, and if possible, color it. But if you do not have any colors at home, that's totally okay. Maybe do some coloring with your pencil. So if you do some shading, if you know how to shade, otherwise, upload it as is. I know I just saw someone just uploaded theirs. If you upload something and realize that you want to redo it, that's totally fine. Let me know. Otherwise, it's all up to you. So I'm going to do that other pattern. Alright, so now I'm going to do maybe a yellow for my other zigzag. I want it to blend into that pink a little bit, so I'm going to go over it just a little bit on the sides. Now if you wanted to make sure that it's nice and even with the stripes, it's totally fine. Mine's a little messy, as I said. I kind of wanted it to blend in a little bit with that pink color. As I said, you're the artist. If it's not how you like, yeah, that's totally fine. But I think you guys are all amazing artists. And I actually will be looking forward to looking at all of those paintings that you guys did. Alright, let's see. A little bit more of the orange right there. And gotta finish up my pot. I think I might do a little bit of that brown that I have in my palette. Alright, maybe do some blue, maybe a dark blue for that brim of the pot. As said, with watercolor, if you don't let it dry, it's probably going to be blending in, so it's blending into that brown a little bit. I think I'm going to make my little flowers pink. I like it when the cactus flowers are pink. Makes them look nice and pretty. But my favorite color is green, so. Alright, so now you have your awesome cactus still life. Remember to upload it to Artsonia and frame it. Thanks. See you guys later.